Hello my dear student, it's week 9, video section 2. We are reading a passage, we are reading a text about sons and daughters, about an all-boy family and an all-girl family. And now we are going on from where we stopped. Okay, now, the Cafeiro family. Marian talks about her family. Let's listen, let's read about Marian. Marian Tibet, 38, lives with husband John, 45, and their daughters Annabelle, Francesca, Genevieve, and Catherine. They run a haulage business. Let me change the color. They run a haulage business together. Marian says, John and I met and married within 16 months. He was 29. People often ask us if we have so many children because we were trying for a boy. But this isn't true. I am an only child and it was my dream to have a big family. We were delighted when Annabelle arrived and equally delighted when Francesca arrived 3 years later, followed by Genevieve and Catherine. John loves having 4 girls. He is their superhero dad. Our daughters are fabulous. Most of the time they get on really well. They get on really well together. They are a chatty group, but we were fascinated to try living with boys. Okay, this part is enough to answer some of the questions. Which questions? These questions. Let's have a look at the first question. What jobs do the parents do? Now we are writing about the second family, the Cafeiro family. Sorry. We are talking about the Tibet family. Sorry, friends. Okay, the first question. What jobs do the parents do? What jobs do the parents do? Let's write the first one. Okay? They run a haulage business. They run a haulage business. Okay. So, do you remember the second question? How long have they been married? How long have they been married? Now, this time, my friends, let's talk about John. John is 45 years old and he was 29 when they got married. So, how long have they been married? They have been married for 16 years. They have been married for 16 years. That's good. Question 3. Why did they want a big family? In fact, why did Marian want a big family? Because Marian was an only child, which means she didn't have any sisters or brothers, and a big family was her dream. A big family was her dream. Thanks, my friends. Okay, question 4. Why are the husbands happy with their families? Now we are talking about John and Marian. So why is John happy with the family? Why, my friends? She has 4 girls and she loves having 4 daughters. They think he is a super dad. He loves having 4 daughters. He is a superhero dad. And the last question, question 5. How do the children behave? Do they get on well? How do the children behave? Do they get on well? Friends, if you look at this paragraph, it says, our daughters are fabulous. Most of the time they get on really well together. They are a chatty group, but we were fascinated to try living with boys. So we can answer the question. We can directly answer the question. The girls are very chatty and they get on very well. The girls are very chatty. They get on really well. They get on really well. That's good. Thanks. What about the other part? The swap part. Let's read the swap. Marian and John Tibet go to the Cafero home. They go to the Cafero home. Marian expected the Cafero boys to be loud and boisterous. In fact, on the first day, they were very quiet and polite. Marian says they even took their shoes off before going upstairs. However, I soon realized why Karen and Steve had to have such strict rules. The boys were constantly on the go and wildly competitive. They raced around the garden and dived into the pool. There was a fight between one of the little boys and his big brother. I tried to make them apologize, which is what I do with my girls, but it just made them more angry. The little one went away by himself, cried, then forgot all about it. But the biggest shock for me was the change in my gentle husband. He became more and more competitive. We all went go-karting. We have never done this with our family. John joined in with the boys and it was clear he wanted to win as much as they did. He had great fun and I loved seeing him so happy. I know he would love to have had a son to continue the business, but now we have seen the reality of having boys. They are exhausting. I honestly think they are much harder work than girls. Good. Let's finish this part. But before finishing, we have some questions. What were the first impressions when they swapped families? Okay, what happened? What were their first impressions? It was question 6. Marian expected the boys to be loud and boisterous, but they were quiet and polite on the first day. They followed the house rules from their own home, taking off their shoes before going upstairs. So, their first impressions were different from what they expected. Okay, their first impressions. Were different from what they expected. Umduklarından, öngördüklerinden, beklediklerinden farklıydı. The boys were quiet and polite. Okay. And they obeyed the house rules. I write in short. Obey uymak demek arkadaşlar. Kurallara uymak için çokça kullanılır. Rule kelimesiyle birlikte çokça kullanılır. Obey. Okay, question 7. What we have in question 7? What differences did they find? We have a lot of differences, don't we? Okay, the boys are constantly on the go and they are very competitive. Boys are very competitive. And I'm checking on my book, and also, yes, they are very active. They were very active. And also, they don't like apologizing. Don't like, I write in short. They don't like apologizing. Okay, and now Marianne tried to make them apologize, and she does with her girls, but this made her quite and forget about. Okay, we can say we have a lot of differences. It's the same with the girls, my friends. It's the same with the girls. If we read this paragraph, when we read this paragraph, okay, this is what we talk about differences. These are all differences. Okay. There was a fight between one of the little boys and his big brother. I tried to make them apologize, which is what we do with girls, but it just made them more angry. The little one went away by himself and cried and forgot it all about. Okay, these are the main differences between girls and boys. And the last question, do they think boys or girls are harder to bring? Boys or girls are harder to bring? Okay, I think Marian says boys are exhausting. Marian thinks, where are you? Okay, I am sorry. I have to choose the pencil. No. Marian, okay. Marian thinks boys are exhausting. Boys are exhausting and they are harder to bring up. And they are harder to bring up. Okay. Evet. Listening'le birlikte bu videoyu da bitireceğiz ama listening'den önce yine bazı bilmediğimiz kelimeler var. Yapılması gereken açıklamalar var arkadaşlar. Onların üzerinde duralım biraz. Loud and boisterous. Boisterous kelimesini zaten başlangıçta da vurguladık, başlangıçta da söyledik. Boisterous arkadaşlar, gürültücü, hareketli, aslında active, loud, boisterous hepsi birbirine yakın kelimeler. Arkadaşlar, bu bölümde repertuarımıza katacağımız yeni ve güzel kelimeler var. Yani constantly şeyden çıkarsak, biraz daha olaya sözlük merkezli bakarsak, sözlük gibi bakarsak sık sık demek. Ama işte biraz daha böyle jargon olarak bakacak olursak ikide bir, sürekli anlamına gelir. On the go mesela güzel bir kelime arkadaşlar. Sürekli meşgul, sürekli iş başında, sürekli bir şeyler karıştırır anlamına geliyor. Kompetitif kelimesi de birebir çevirisi rekabetçi, biraz yorumlanmış hali hırslı olarak arkadaşlar çevirebiliriz. Exhausting yorucu demek. Yani tiring'in eş anlamlısı ama biraz daha kuvvetlidir anlamı şeyden, tiring'den biraz daha kuvvetlidir anlamı. Ha şu tarafı unuttuk. Pembe taraftaki kelimelere bakalım. Unuttuk demeyelim. Es geçmişiz. Get on anlaşmak, hatta çoğunlukla well ile beraber kullanılır. Get on well anlaşmak, iyi geçinmek. Chatty konuşkan arkadaşlar. Bakın talkative gibi değil. Bunu biliyorsunuz. Talkative geveze, chatty konuşkan, hoş sohbet. Haulage da nakliye demek arkadaşlar. Taşımacılık, nakliye demek haulage kelimesi. Son olarak şu listening'i dinleyip arkadaşlar listening etkinliğini yaptıktan sonra videomuzu bitirebiliriz. Bugünkü işlerimizi de tamamlayabiliriz. Evet, bakalım. Listen to three people talking about their families. After each one answer these questions. What do you think? Who do you think is the happiest? Evet, 6 tane sorumuz var.
Tape script 8 points.
6 tane sorumuz var. 3 kişiyi dinleyeceğiz. Her üçünden sonra da bu 6 soruyu cevaplayacağız. Gidişata göre belki uzatmayabilirim arkadaşlar. Bir dinleyelim bakalım karşımıza ne çıkacak. How many brothers and sisters do they have? Where do they come in the family? First, second, etc. What do they like about their situation? What don't they like? Do they think their parents have a favorite child? How many children do they want? Evet. Dinleyip kişi kişi cevaplayalım bunları. Belki şurada bile cevaplayabiliriz.
7.
Okay, David. We have David now. How many sisters? How many sisters or brothers does he have? Okay, we get the answer. David has 2 brothers, friends. David has 2 brothers. And where do they come in the family? First, second, or etc. Did you get it? Okay. David is the middle child. He is in the middle, not the eldest, not the youngest. What do they like about their situation? Situation durum demek. Durumlarıyla alakalı neyi seviyorlar? He liked being the baby before his younger brother was born şeklinde bir cümle kurdu. His relationship with his brother is great now. His relationship with his brother is great now. Şeye geçelim biz gene. Şurada cevaplayalım. 3. sorumuzu. His relationship with his brother is great now. Okay, question 4. We have question 4. What don't they like? So what doesn't David like? What doesn't David like? He was jealous when his younger brother was born. The 3 boys had lots of fights when they were young. They had lots of fights. They had lots of fights when they were young. Okay, question 5. Does David think their parents have a favorite child? Okay, yes, he thought his younger brother Rob. His younger brother Rob. Younger brother Rob is her mom's favorite child. Is her mom's favorite child. Let's go on. Let's go on.
Tape script 8.7.
For it. We had lots of fights as kids, but now it's great. I'd like to have at least 3 kids. 3 boys like us, it'd be great.
2. A girl called Peter.
My mum and dad called me Peter when I was born because they wanted a boy. Then they had 4 boys after me. I don't like being the eldest of so many boys, and I don't like my name. I'm going to change it to Petra when I'm 18. I quite like the baby, Henry. He's everybody's favourite. But I hate the others. They're annoying and very boring. All they do is play noisy computer games and talk about football. I don't want any children when I grow up. Well, maybe one daughter.
3.
Evet. Güzel bir orada güzel bir fonetik oyun vardı orada arkadaşlar. Yakaladınız mı, yakalayabildiniz mi bilmiyorum. Birinci sorumuz, how many brothers and sisters does Peter have? Peter. Evet, erkek çocuk istedikleri için kızlarına bu ismi vermişler. Peter ismini vermişler. Orada bir fonetik ses oyunu var. She has 4 brothers. Peter has 4 brothers. Okay. And where does she come in the family? Where does she come in the family? She is the eldest. She is the eldest child, which means she is the first child. Okay. And when we look at the third question, what does she like about the situation? She quite likes her baby brother. She likes her baby brother, her youngest brother. Okay. And question 4. What doesn't she like? She doesn't like being the eldest. She doesn't like being the eldest child. Being the eldest. Okay. And does she think their parents have a favorite child? Yes. So the baby, Henry, is everybody's, the baby. His name is Henry. Probably just like this. The baby, Henry, is the favorite of everybody at home. And how many children does she want? How many children does Peter want? She says she doesn't want any children. Maybe one daughter. She says she doesn't. Peter doesn't want any children. Maybe one daughter. Maybe one daughter. Okay. What about the last person? Let's listen to him or her. I don't know.
Stuart.
I'm an only child. My mum and dad divorced when I was just 3 years old, so I grew up with just my mum. I love my mum, but I didn't like the situation. I was her whole world. This was difficult for me. Then, when I was 13, she married again, and that was difficult too. It took me a long time to get on with my stepdad. He's really nice, but I was jealous of him for years. I've just got married. My wife's an only child too, and we both definitely want to have lots of children.
Well, evet. Burası biraz acıklıydı. How many brothers and sisters does Stuart have? His name is Stuart. Okay, we got it. His name is Stuart. How many sisters and brothers does Stuart have? Okay, he doesn't have any children. He is an only child. Stuart is an only child. So we doesn't have any answer for the second question. No answers for the second question. When we look at the third question, what's that? What does it ask? What does he like about this situation? Okay, his dad is dead. His dad died. Okay, when he was 3, but Stuart loves his mom and his stepdad and his stepdad. You can listen again, my friends. You can listen again, the listening. Okay, question 4. What does it ask? It says, what doesn't Stuart like? What doesn't Stuart like? His parents got divorced, and he didn't like growing up with his mom. His mom married again, and it took him a long time to get on with his stepdad. Stuart was jealous of him. Okay, his parents got divorced. He didn't like this. He didn't like his stepdad at first. He didn't like his stepdad at first. Okay. Question 5. Does he think his parents have a favorite child? Okay, he is an only child, so we don't have an answer for this question. And question 6. How many children does he want? How many children does Stuart want? Okay, his wife is an only child too. So Stuart wants lots of children. Lots of children. Stuart is an only child. He is married and his wife is also an only child. So they want lots of children. Okay, friends. Good. Thanks. It's over now. It's over now. We read the text about sons and daughters. See you next week. See you with the end of the topic, with the end of the unit, page 68. Okay, friends. Take care of yourselves.